It's the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast, your one-stop shop to dominate fantasy baseball and football. Come get some.
What's up? What's up? We're missing somebody today, but we have a special guest here. We'll get to him in a minute with the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast. And Mimi, joined by, right there, Trader Andy. What's going on, Andy?
What's up, my man? How we doing?
What are you doing today?
Just relaxing. Took the day off from work. Got to take my son to and from school. Had some recreational time in between. It was a good day. I'm relaxed. Energized. Nice. So we are obviously missing Jeff today. He is working 1,000 hours a day, but we are joined by a special guest today. Old high school buddy of mine. Very big sport guy, very big esports guy. I'll let him take over from here. What's going on, Dave?
Not too much. How's it going, guys? Just taking it easy, But my name's Dave, handle Sports Euphoria. Do everything from sports real quick, any sort of sport, fantasy football primarily, but all sports in general, and then a little bit of esports as well. I am a gaming nerd, so I will cover a lot of that, anything competitive to say the least. But howdy.
So Dave, how many Bryce Harper shares do you have this year? and we're all laughing because my man over here that way, he's a bit of a Bryce Harper fetish, and like all he talked about is Bryce Harper, and he said he was going to leave the draft without him, and it seemed a little weird, and people were like, "Is this guy all right, man? He keeps talking about Bryce Harper." I thought it was maybe his brother or something. I don't know, but what's going on, Dave? How's Bryce doing?
Doing well. I had a lot more shares last year, ton of shares last year. Great year for him last year. But no, yeah, that's what are you gonna do? You live and you learn, right?
He's gonna win MVP maybe. So I mean, this is the year to have him. But,
I'm a couple years too early. What are you gonna do? I
got Tatis on my team. I don't talk to him. I don't talk about him as much as this guy does with Bryce Harper. But hey, whatever. Let's carry on, Nick.
Yeah. So we are
all right.
First and last. Okay.
Never again.
Yeah, so we're here talking football. Week 3's done. A lot of big stuff coming out week 3, big injury news, a couple big signings. We're gonna get into that. Let's just start with the elephant in the room. Christian McCaffrey goes down. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking for waivers? How much are we putting on Hubbard? Andy, what do you think?
Well, you saw what Mike Davis did last year in that role, and he was a monster. So I think everyone's going to be paying out the ass for him this week. What do you think about Chuba Hubbard? I know that was your boy, so
yeah,
you were talking about before the season. So
yeah, I have some dynasty shares. He's he's the backup clearly in Carolina. Sam Darnold's clearly a check down guy, as we've been seeing, checking down left and right. They did not put McCaffrey on IL, so that is a good thing. Do not mind me. They have the Yankees on the side here. They didn't put McCaffrey on IL, which means he probably going to miss maybe 2 to 3 weeks, possibly back in a few. So, I don't know. Dave, what do you think?
I like Hubbard. Probably depending on your situation, if you have McCaffrey, you're going to pay an arm and a leg for him. But I mean, he was a Heisman favorite a couple years ago in college, and then just didn't go that way. So he's definitely talented. And if you need him, obviously pick him up. I think he's going to perform just fine. So go for it.
How much percentage? How much percentage of that?
If you don't have McCaffrey, I'd say like probably 30 to 35. If you have McCaffrey, you're going to 50 at least, because if it's a hamstring injury, it can linger. Those things can linger, especially with how much they use him. His re-injury rate could go back up. So
yeah, Dave that's an excellent point. I was going to bring that up too. If you have Christian McCaffrey, you got to go at least 50% for this, because you lose McCaffrey, you lose your number 1 pick. Hubbard's coming in. I think of Indian in the cupboard whenever I say the damn name. When he's coming in, you're going to lose your first round pick. I mean, guys are going to try and outbid him, and don't be surprised if you get him. Trade him to the McCaffrey person. Try and get him. But big injury, so we'll see what happens with McCaffrey. 1 to 3 weeks. He had the injury last year. He's got the hammy now. So we'll see. Going down the list here for running back wise, Peyton Barber. What do you guys think of Peyton Barber?
How long is Jacobs out for?
Seems like a week-to-week thing. He was highly questionable again. If he's back this week, is he going to be full speed? I mean, we all thought Kenyon Drake was going to be the guy, but clearly Peyton Barber's out of nowhere here.
They left Drake in the role he was in, and they brought Barber in to take that, and Barber's doing better than Jacobs did. So
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I would take a shot on him. He's probably going to get some shares, still get some touches when Jacobs comes back either. So I would go that way.
Dave, what do you think?
Jacobs is another injury-prone guy, kind of ever since he came into the league. When he's healthy, he can produce, but there's definitely, if you have a roster spot for him and you can, definitely put a bid in for him. I think you're going to see dividends pay off, and Derek Carr's been lighting it up, but I don't think they're going to want to use his arm that much if they can save it. So I think they'll probably be trying to run a little bit more down the road.
Yeah, if you have Josh Jacobs, you have to make this ad. It's almost a must add at this point. I have Kenny and Drake shares, and I'm very upset that he is not getting the main target share. But Peyton Barber's out of nowhere. And Vegas, what's going on? 3-0. They're crushing it. They're looking good. Derek Carr's on fire.
Dude, he's spreading the ball around too. There's so many players that.
What is going on?
Target shares are ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Darren Waller, he's got Brian Edwards. Brian Edwards is doing great. Great all around for that team. Let's go on the list again. So we have Peyton Barber. We got Gio Bernard. Gio Bernard had the little injury at the end, but what do you guys think?
How hurt is he?
I think he's fine.
MCL sprain.
I think he should be fine. He was having a good game.
Yeah, it was just one game. Before that, he wasn't even getting playing time. So I think they were trying to break it down between Fournette and Ronald Jones. But I don't know. This injury is probably going to hold him out, I think. They said it was an MCL sprain. That's the last thing I saw. So I'm not sure. He could be week to week as well.
Yeah, same. Yeah, pretty much. What do you think, Dave?
That's what I've been hearing is week to week for Gio. I think it's very game script dependent too. You probably could get him this week or maybe even next if somebody does pick him up and drop him, because I really just think Tom Brady is going to want to stick it to New England next week, and it's just going to be a Gronk day all day. But I mean, it depends on the injury. I heard, possibly week to week, but nothing too crazy. Just, again, to be game script dependent. If they want to run the ball, they're going to use other people. If they want to pass it. He has no carries all season, Gio. Strictly receptions. So you're taking him in PPR, I think, only if you need him.
Yeah, that's a wild stat right there. I didn't even think of that. The no carries, but he's got the James White role without the carries, pretty much. I think Tom Brady's going to put up at least 800 yards on Sunday against New England.
I'll take the over on that. I'll take the over.
I don't know if you saw it, if anybody caught it. Little language. Tom Brady on the sideline after losing to the Rams. I really feel for the Patriots this Sunday. He is going to absolutely go nuts, and I think he's going to be QB1. Fire up every single Buccaneer you have, even the Water Boy.
Why don't you fire up the Patriots too? Mac Jones will be down. He threw 51 times last week. Did you see how our boy that me and Jeff were raving about, Jacoby Myers? He was a monster this week.
Mm-hmm.
14 targets for Jacoby. Crazy.
Yeah, he's spreading around, and unfortunately, our boy Jonnu is not doing well. Hunter Henry seems like he's the guy right now.
All right, they play 2 tight end sets.
They do.
Just believe. All right.
Actually, speaking of the Patriots, they did lose James White, which could be long term. Dave, what's your thought on that?
You're going to see an increase, I think, in the Jacoby Myers, the Kendrick Bournes, because again, James White's just that receiving guy, and it's a very similar injury to Fitzpatrick. So, if not the same injury to Fitzpatrick, and that where that landed him, so if that kind of gives you an idea of how long White's going to be out for, you can kind of use that as a barometer.
Bourne's in your article as well, right?
Yeah, I have Bourne in there. Bourne, Myers. I didn't put Myers in there because he was pretty much owned all over the place. I actually put Brandon Bolden in there. I think J.J. Taylor is more of the actual running back carry guy. I think Brandon Bolden might actually fill that pass catching role. This past Sunday, he actually had 3 catches for 23 yards and even took 3 carries. So I think that's going to have a big deal possibly he's going to play. I don't think he's going to be fantasy relevant to the point where we should be going crazy adding him. But if you're in a deep league, Scott Fish Bowl, Warrior Bowl, I think he's definitely worth a look at least. Speaking of running backs here, we got Carlos Hyde up in Jacksonville. Urban Meyer seems to love him. Are we fading James Robinson, or what are we doing here?
No, still don't fade him. He still did good. I like James Robinson. He looked good last week. He's breaking out a little bit more. Hyde was in there based on the game script. They were down. They needed him to do pass blocking, and he was getting some extra carries at the end of the game when they were down. But James Robinson is clearly the best running back in that backfield. But I think there's definitely they're sharing the touches.
Yeah, Dave, you think the same, or what do you got?
I mean, I got offered somebody offered me James Robinson, and I probably couldn't get any further away from him. Jacksonville's going to be down so much. I just don't know how I feel. And Carlos Hyde has a relationship with Urban Meyer with Ohio State. I believe they have that connection. I don't know if they were there at the same time. I don't think so.
Carlos Hyde's like 35 years old, right?
Yeah, I know.
He's old as hell. He's almost older than me.
But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I'm playing the waiting game. I think ETN is definitely the back of the future. So in redrafts, if you can get Robinson, take him, because I don't think he's going to be there next year. So
that's what they said this year too. I'm a James Robinson guy, man. So I'm going to fight until the end of the week. Let's go.
I'll say ETN's my Bryce Harper. Just saying.
All right. We'll leave it at that.
All right. On that note, I put a kind of an irrelevant player on here. I've always been a big fan of him, Larry Roundtree for the Chargers. The only reason I put him on there is because he got a goal line carry. What does that mean? He's the backup. He's a goal line guy. Something happens to Eckler.
For like 5 months.
I have, but he got a goal line carry. 1 yard line, he got a carry. He didn't get anything, but the fact that they gave him the ball there just shows he is the backup there. Justin Jackson, I believe, had 2 carries for 0 yards. So I think he is completely off the radar. I think Roundtree is the guy to at least have if you're an Eckler
But what I'm saying is that you've been saying this for months, all right? And if he's that low owned in all these leagues, no one is listening to you. And they should be listening to you.
I'm not surprised.
But they should be listening to you because when you have an elite running back, you need to make sure their handcuff is taken because he's going to provide that number one running back role later, like Madison did with the
Thank you.
With the Vikings. So why are these people listening to you?
I don't know. We're fine. I don't know. Well, because that's the thing. If something happens to Eckler, Roundtree, how much are we going to spend in money for him? How much waiver wire?
Get him now when he's free.
That's why McCaffrey. Look at Hubbard. Hubbard's going to go for crazy amounts tonight. I wouldn't be surprised to see 100% budgets go on him. Same thing with Madison. Madison crushed it.
So I had Madison at the end of the draft in one of our big leagues, and he was a running back 1 for me last week, and I got him at the end of the draft.
You should not have had to have picked up Madison. I'm just saying he should have already been drafted. Yeah, I drafted Hubbard late in leagues because it's just McCaffrey from last season, and the same thing like you said with Roundtree. It's Eckler has been known to kind of have a nagging injury here or there, and they might want to protect him and give him somebody else. But they have a talented quarterback, but you shouldn't like these elite running backs, these top 10 fantasy backs. You should, if they're the bell cow, you got to have their handcuff. You have to, because if not, then it's a crapshoot to who gets them if it's too late.
Plus, we're talking about the Chargers, and you have a guy who can stick a needle in and puncture your lung.
Oh,
right? So you might want to make sure that you get the backup.
How do I remove him from this thing here? So me and Dave were talking about this. We were talking about this, and it's wild to think about this. Tyrod Taylor was a starter in Cleveland. He lost the job to Baker Mayfield. Tyrod Taylor goes to L.A. for the Chargers. I keep wanting to say San Diego. And they puncture his lung, and now Justin Herbert is crushing it. Now he goes to Houston, and he gets hurt, and Davis Mills is in. It's an interesting combination there.
Accidentally punctured his lung, by the way.
Accidentally, quote unquote. But let's go to Houston real quick. Davis Mills is looking pretty good. Brandon Cooks looks quarterback proof. Houston's been competitive outside of the 24-9 beat.
He's going to air it out this week, too, because they're a minus 16.5 points to the Bills. That's going to be my suicide pick. So obviously they're going to be down big in Buffalo. The Bills Mafia is going to be going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Mills is going to be under a lot of pressure, and he's going to be. There's a chance for him throwing 4 interceptions, but he's going to air it out.
That's fine. That's fine. And I'm, a depressed Jeff fan. I'm Dave is a Giant fan, so he can probably relate to this. I've been looking at mock drafts for next year already. The top 2 pass rush corner, Stingley is the guy I want. I cannot pronounce Oregon pass rusher. I cannot pronounce his name to save my life.
Is that Thibodeau?
Yes, I can't pronounce his name to save my life. Those seem like the top 2 picks right now, and I'm already looking at mock drafts. Tankathon's my friend.
Yeah, I got some breaking news. I got some breaking news on my phone. My wife just said that she's like, "Wow, I've never seen Nick talk so much." I was like, "Well, he's running the show, so he has to talk."
It's actually very difficult because I have the Yankee game on here.
Dave. Usually he's the third guy. He has all the knowledge, but he's always focusing somewhere else and always talking. But Jeff talks the most, and I'm the guy who's just the hype guy, and Nick is the information at the end of the thing. Now Nick's taking on a bigger role, man.
Roles reversed. I'm the Nick.
He just moved into the RB1.
Oh, no.
Nick is RB1.
No, he's the Mike Williams. He's the wide receiver one. He's the Mike Williams. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm watching the Yankees. I'm trying to little tweeting here. I'm paying attention here. Yankees more so. Big game here.
I'm a Met fan, so I'm just focused right on you two. All right.
Because
I have nothing to watch.
Yes. What are you talking about? Thor's pitching, but that's neither here nor there.
Pitch 1 inning. His career.
He struck out too. All right, let's go to wide receivers here. So we're done with running back. If you're like me, you'll be doing your waiver claims at 11:30 tonight. But let's go to wide receivers. Big one for me is Denver. KJ Hamler tore his ACL. Tim Patrick, he seems like the next guy up. He had 5 targets, 5 catches, 98 yards. I believe he caught a pass down to like the 1 yard line, so he could have even had a touchdown in there. Cortland Sutton's the number 1, Noah Fant, and it's Patrick. Those are the 3 top guys right now in Denver. What do you guys think?
Love Patrick. I watched it. He tore up the Jets. He just looked like he was taking over the game. But I mean, that's most wide receivers against the Jets. But he is definitely worth someone to throw a couple bucks on and try to get him.
Mm-hmm. Dave, I know we talked about Cortland Sutton a lot. What do you think of this wide receiver situation?
I think Patrick's. I think he's worth it again, depending on deeper leagues, depending on who you have. If you had Hamler for some random reason, you could pick him up, or if you decided to go like receivers late or whatever the case may be. Bridgewater spreads the ball around. It's another guy. I had Sutton go off last week for me with I think like 9 or 10 catches for 124 yards, which was fantastic. So I think it's just going to be game script dependent. But I think you're going to see numbers evenly across between Fant, Patrick, and Sutton because they have their first test in Baltimore this week on Sunday. So I think you'd be good with any one of them. But just a couple bucks on him. He's been productive since he's been in. I think his only bad week was last week, but it wasn't overly terrible. He just got outperformed by Sutton.
The real thing you want to talk about is with Bridgewater is he's been amazing. Bridgewater has been outstanding. Mm-hmm. He was my 3rd or 4th guy in the fishbowl, and he's putting up 25 points a game, like fantasy points a game. He not turning the ball over. He's smart. He did well. I mean, the Jets had him too, and they just let him go. But
yeah. But can we talk about the AFC West for a second? You have the Raiders 3-0, the Broncos 3-0, Chiefs are 1-2. They're obviously in it, and then the Chargers. They're looking good too. That's a pretty stacked division right now.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The big one of the week. What are we doing with Josh Gordon? What are we doing?
What are you talking about? He's already been picked up in most leagues.
Yes and no.
People have already picked him up this week.
He's still a 10-team leagues. He's definitely available in some. 12 teams, iffy. But I don't know. He's on the Chiefs. He's going to compete with McCall Hardman right away, probably.
That's the reason people are going to pick him up is because he's with Mahomes.
Yeah, easy.
That's easy. I'm not going to waste a spot on him. He's just on their practice squad. I am sure he is in tip-top shape as always because he always shows whenever he's working out. He's in tip-top shape. I don't, but you could even see it with Beckham last week when he came back. He wasn't in game shape. He was a little winded towards the end. So obviously, I think Gordon, the same thing going to happen.
Plus, you smoke weed. You smoke weed.
Yeah,
that happens.
But he didn't even when he was with Brady and Russell Wilson. He didn't have crazy consistency like he did when he was with the Browns those couple years back. So I don't, just kind of wait and see, maybe see what happens, see what the reports are coming out of Kansas City, how they like him. Once Andy Reid gets his eyes on him, thankfully he's okay now. His visit to the hospital. We'll see what happens. Andy Reid's a genius, and he'll figure out a way to incorporate him. So I'm not too worried, but just wait.
You can't wait. You can't wait and see with this because people see Mahomes and Gordon, and even if he's on the Packers squad, they're all going to pay.
I think they're going to end up dropping him though, and you'll be able to get him cheap. I think other people are going to get hurt in a couple weeks, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, he's still on the practice squad, or he hasn't gotten any catches yet. I'll drop him," and then you can scoop him up maybe for like super cheap. I don't know.
He was picked up in all 3 of my leagues like last week.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
people fishing in the fishbowl.
Yeah, but then, let's look at Hardman. He's going to go one-on-one with Hardman for the outside role. Hardman right now has the edge, but Gordon's going to eventually sneak in there. By week, 5, 6, 7, who's going to be the guy to roster? Who's going to be the main one?
It doesn't matter. It's Kelsey, it's Tyreek Hill, and it's whoever else. He's going to pick and choose. He might want Pringles one week, and he's hungry. He wants Pringles.
I like Pringles.
He's a Pringles. So do I. But then he's going to
plain or flavor. Do we have plain or flavor though? That's a big question.
So you don't know where he's going to go each week. So there's a lot of options for him.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. All right. So let's leave Kansas City. We'll stay in the West. Let's go with Bryan Edwards and Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is a good slot man. He had 5 of 6 targets for 77 yards and a touchdown. Bryan Edwards, 5 targets, 3 catches, 89 yards. Are they both rosterable? Are we rostering all these Raider receivers?
How many? He's getting the ball out to everybody. They don't really have around. Before Barber came in, they didn't even have a running game. So their offense is a juggernaut. They're getting everybody involved. Everybody's involved. Ruggs looks like a star some weeks, and you still have a superstar tight end Waller. He's spreading the ball around. So Renfrow is definitely safe. I like him. He's good hands.
He's definitely good hands. I think in my book, Renfrow is somebody I'm targeting higher. He's higher on my list for priority because he's that Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola type person who's going to get you those catches, kind of like a Jalen Waddle, 12 for 58. But I think he's going to do that because you're going to see Waller after the 19 targets week 1. He's finally spreading out a little bit more. But, I like them both. But in my opinion, I'm targeting a Renfrow the most because he's that slot, move the chains guy who's going to get you, 5 to 7 yards every catch and maybe make a shifty move and cut and get a couple extra.
22 targets first 3 games. That's
wild. And I think even last year, I was a big fan of him coming into the season, and he's starting to really take shape this year. All right. So out of Vegas, we're calling back. We're going a little throwback here, Andy. Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah. Oh God.
Deshaun Jackson,
one-on-one
with Van Jefferson. He's playing for the Rams, and he had a nice 75-yard touchdown. 5 targets, $120.
Stafford's the man.
It's all Stafford.
Yeah, I love the guy, but you have Kupp, you have Woods, you have Higbee. How many targets you gonna get? He's the home run hitter, so he's gonna try to. Did you see that move that he did? He was cutting in and they ran out. Oh, God, he makes these guys look silly. But, Deshaun Jackson, he's a home run hitter. So he's going to do good one week. He's more of a DFS guy. Or a best ball.
Yeah.
Best ball.
I agree
best
with
ball.
that.
For sure. That makes sense. He is that home run guy. Again, deeper leagues, you're playing in like 14 plus, and you need somebody, give him a shot. But it's just going to be a matter of if he gets past that guy. He showed his speed, so people are going to respect it now a little bit more. And it's just going to open everything else up, I think, for everybody else on the team for the shorter underneath routes. But he's a home run guy, like you said, and he's, you just don't know.
Yeah. All right. And now out of there, let's go to Carolina real quick. Has anybody seen Robbie Anderson? Because I definitely haven't outside of week 1. After he did a little jet fly there, he has done absolutely nothing.
I'll talk about that.
I think I put Terrace Marshall on my list here. I think he is up and coming. I think he might be a guy to really take a look at. He's got talent. He didn't do much on Thursday night. He had 5 targets, 4 catches for 48 yards against the Texans, but I think he's going to be the guy that's going to be outproducing Robbie Anderson. That's just my take on that.
DJ Moore's his guy. He goes to him all the time. Now you got, he's going to pass. He's going to check down to Chuba. So
yep, yeah, I think Robbie is going to be on the outside. I mean, they just gave him a contract extension too.
I hate him.
Oh, I can't stand him.
I hate Robbie Anderson.
You have your college coach and your Jets quarterback. It's like literally the perfect thing. So what do? I draft him. What did he get me last week? Started him. 1.8 points.
Got him. Boom.
You all right? You good? You got Robbie Anderson? You excited about that?
Bichette just tried to steal third.
He's talking about
Bichette trying to steal third.
I'm sorry. We're talking about a man's game, and you're over here talking.
Whoa! I'm the baseball guy here, bro.
I know you're the baseball guy. I'm the Bryce Harper guy. What can I say? He likes to. He's a tough guy, Bryce Harper. He likes to throw down every once in a while.
Well, when he throws the helmet down, he throws it completely off to the side, though.
That's why he's not catching anymore.
I do question Nick running the podcast and watching his Yankees, but whatever.
It's
all right. But so let's go to more important things here.
Yeah, Terrace Marshall. I like him.
Terrace Marshall.
I'm a Robbie Anderson owner. I got burned. Thankfully, I won my league because of Alexander Madison this week, and the Browns defense. But that's neither here nor there. I think you're gonna be able to sell high on Anderson next week, though, if you have him, because I think Moore is going to be shadowed by Diggs for the Cowboys, and he has 3 picks in 3 games. The guy's just a shutdown corner right now. So I'd like to see what Darnold can do, and I think you'll see an uptick for Marshall next week, and especially for Anderson.
That's a nice hot take right there. I like that.
Yeah, the big question is going to be is can Darnold even keep this up consistently? I mean, we know as Jet fans that Darnold has flashes. He could play very good. But can he keep it up consistently? I mean, he's doing.
Wait, I never seen him play good. You saw him play good?
Flashes.
I've only seen him see ghosts. So
yeah.
Before Adam Gase, pre Gase.
All
right. So outside of Carolina, let's go to Arizona. We did not do a crash and burn earlier. I missed that part. So I'm going to take my crash and burn, and it was a big one. It was Rondale Moore. I thought the world of him this week. I was expecting big blowout performance, everything, and did not happen. What do you guys think?
Dave, you can take this one because
Dave, I see you all pumped about this. You got to take this one.
Please. I picked up Christian Kirk after week 1. Love Kirk, and I just think Moore's game script dependent right now. He's a shifty player. He's very talented.
Jeff said
he's a crafty. He's a crafty player. He reminds me of like a Devin Hester, Dante Hall-esque player right now. I don't know how his route running is or what his route tree looks like. The touchdown that he had a couple weeks ago, last week, week 2, was, again, you can't cover receivers that long when Murray's going to keep the play alive. I think it was a little bit of a flash in the pan, but their offense is just going to throw it around. If Christian Kirk caught that, if the pass that he caught from Murray when Murray was fading back on the all-out blitz, and that was a touchdown, it would have been a completely different, I think, story. And Kirk would have had a touchdown in all 3 games and close to 100 yards in week 2 because it would have been another 15 to 20 yards in that reception. I think he finished with 60. He's had over 60 yards each game, I think, and now he's had 3 touchdowns in 3 games. So,
all right. So let's talk about ADP of 180. I was talking about taking AJ Green for months. And he had 6 targets, 5 catches, 112 yards. He's the man. I told you guys, he's a single coverage for the first time in his career. He has double coverage with DeAndre Hopkins. He's by himself. He's all by himself. That's what the cornerback's saying when he loses them. But you guys agree with me or what?
Yeah, AJ Green looked awesome. 112 yards. He has 18 targets in 3 weeks. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is hurt. I don't know if he's going to be playing hurt next week. We'll see how that works. But as long as AJ Green can stay healthy, he's fantasy relevant right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree there. Like I said, it depends on the Hopkins thing. He was definitely hurting a lot more than I think the team had let on. And that definitely helped out both Kirk and Green. So it's going to depend. You know they're going to throw the ball a ton, though. Even in week 2, I think Green just had a couple drops. He missed some opportunities. But it's like throwback fantasy right now with the Deshaun Jackson and AJ Green conversations. I thought it was like 2018 all over again, 2017. I didn't know what was going on.
All right, and Kyler Murray, QB1. He's red hot right now. And Arizona lines up a lot of 4 wide receiver sets. So they're all going to be on the field. All right, outside of Arizona, we're going to go to Baltimore. I put 2 receivers on here. One is a pure speculative, get him now before he gets hot ad, is Rashad Bateman. He is on IR. He's eligible to come off this week, as early as this week. We talked him up all off season, one of the top rookies. Hopefully we can get him in action pretty soon. If you got an empty roster spot, you got that IR spot, he's definitely worth a flyer. And then we got Sammy Watkins. He's still producing. I thought he'd be done after week 1, but he's still going. He had 68 yards against the Lions. He had 4 catches. He's seeming like a good deep flyer. Lamar Jackson's getting him the ball. You guys buying in on him?
He's got to throw somebody.
Well, he's got to throw somebody who can catch it.
Yeah,
Marquise Brown.
He was out.
Oh,
yeah, I don't want to talk about that. No, I think Watkins, again, he was a talented coming to Clemson. The Bills took him really high, top 10 pick, I think, when he came out of college. And just didn't really. He went to the Bills before Josh Allen, so he has the skill. It just depends on what Bateman can do. I picked up Bateman, and Nick, you know about this. I was picking your brain about it. I saw my Dynasty League. Bateman got dropped, and I'm like, how much do I spend on him? I ended up, Nick, I don't think I ever told you this, so I'm going to tell you this real quick. I spent $81 on him $81 out of with our budget's $250.
All right, hey,
so you're
throwing a towel in.
There's not many people that are going to pick up. It was a 25-round Dynasty League draft, so I have Wayne Gallman on my bench. Like, let's be real. There's not many people out there, so I was like, I'll spend $81 on Bateman for the opportunity for what he can present and what he can bring to the table. So it's really, if you can get him now, because as soon as he pops, it's going to be way too late. You're not going to start him till after the game. He's going to be on your bench when he goes off, and you're going to feel terrible, but you'll start him after that, and I think he'll be good.
And nobody's dropping a Bateman type in a dynasty, so you did well there with $81. Who cares?
You got your guy.
I thought about even spending $100, but Nick talked me down, so I had to. So,
a couple quick throws here. Curtis Samuel, he's 57% roster on ESPN. He's eligible to come off this week. If you got the space and he's available, he's definitely worth a look. Another one I put on there was, I'm going to butcher this name, Nick Westbrook IK Hine from the Tennessee Titans. AJ Brown is questionable. Julio Jones is questionable. This kid's going to elevate. We'll see what happens. Des Fitzpatrick is on the practice squad. Maybe they elevate him. But this kid had a good game.
Who are they playing?
Who
are they playing?
The New York Jets.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about wide receivers. Just hand the ball to Derrick Henry and call the day.
200-yard coming.
Yeah,
200-yard game.
Yeah, he's gonna break the single game rushing record. Just saying, you're gonna see a lot of like flashbacks of that one when he scored that 99-yard touchdown run. You're gonna see a lot of that. I'm just saying. You better hope he misses the flight or something.
Not gonna be good. Outside of the wide receivers, I threw a couple tight ends on here. Anybody jump out? Actually, there was a big trade. Dan Arnold was traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars from the Carolina Panthers. Henderson went from Jacksonville to Carolina in a absolute steal. Now Dan Arnold is the tight end 1 for Trevor Lawrence. Somebody we could look at possibly. Outside of him, there was Tyler Conklin, Dawson Knox, Gerald Everett, all had decent games. Are we buying any of these guys, or are we just waiting and seeing?
No, we're not buying anything. I like the trade for, again, Henderson. That was a great trade, beefing up beefing up the defense. But
there's nothing.
He's a rookie quarterback. He sucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's not good. Only person I like is Conklin. I don't know why. Something about him. I just have a weird feeling.
You're the second person that actually told me that.
It's a Kirk Cousins. It's a Kirk Cousins thing. Jordan
Mark
Reed
loves him.
Like it's a Kirk Cousins thing. I don't know what it is, but once he builds rapport with a tight end, the only person I think it affects is KJ Osborne. I know you guys talked about him last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only person that gets hurt by this is because once he finds his tight end, Cousins, it's just his nice little safety. Now it could have been game script and game flow because there was no Cook. But he's the only person I think because it's that I don't know. He likes tight ends. He does. I don't know why.
I think that there's only 3 people I've known that talked about Terry, and that's his mom, you, and Mark. That's it. But hey, if Kirk Cousins likes tight ends, that's his own personal preference. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. On that note,
Gonna leave
really
that
quick,
one there.
we talked about quarterbacks, Darnold, Carr, and Cousins. Speaking of the 3, could be some decent fantasy ads, good super flex ads. Darnold is showing some fantasy relevance. Carr and Cousins are also looking good. Definitely somebody to keep an eye on, at least for the waiver wire purposes. All right, and we got our first game Thursday night, Jacksonville, Cincy. You guys like anybody there? We have T. Higgins back, possibly.
Is Higgins coming back?
Hopefully. I mean, it's a short week, so I would not be surprised if they actually rest him.
Oh, that's good then, because my boy Tyler Boyd, cheap as hell on daily fantasy sites and eating up all the targets. I love the guy. Him and Chase, it's just a 1-2 punch right there. So
yeah,
if I could take one more week of just those 2, I'll go with it.
Yeah. I just probably a lot of mixing. The only thing that scares me in this game is Burrow's been throwing the ball, I feel like under 30 times. He threw it 18 times?
Yeah, he threw it 18 times. That's ridiculous.
That's just, and I'm like, I don't know. Jacksonville, I think they might try to just feed Mixon a ton and just kind of like play it safe. They're still trying to protect him, I feel. And they don't want to have him like be back there too long with his leg and everything like that.
With that line.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, he's been doing incredible things, and especially Chase. I give it to Chase. I just don't know if he'll be able to keep that up. His tight end, his touchdown percentage. I got tight end on my mind. His touchdown percentage, his touchdown rate is just. He's not gonna be able to keep that up. But I do. You're gonna start the usual people though. I think, but it's just gonna be a lot of mixing.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see what happens with the Hyde situation. I mean, James Robinson firing up the usual. Nothing abnormal here. Next game on the schedule is a painful one. Is the Derrick Henry 500-yard rushing game. Titans-Jets. Titans coming to the swamps of Jersey. Henry probably might be one of the starts of the week. Is there any Jet even startable
Corey
at this
Davis.
point?
Corey
like
Davis.
This week?
Zach Wilson has a coming out party against the Titans' terrible defense.
Oh,
Zach Wilson throws for 303 TDs. I'm saying it right now.
What?
I'm telling you.
Is that for like the whole season or Sunday?
I'm telling you right now. It's going to be his point. He's going to tease every Jets fan. He's going to be like, "This is what the Titans' defense is terrible, terrible." I know the offensive line is terrible for the Jets, but there's my little hot take. I definitely, maybe not 300 yards, but he's going to get some touchdowns. They'll be getting good field position. But I think Corey Davis is probably going to be the start. Yeah. I think he's going to, and it's a revenge game, no, for Corey Davis?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, he had 10 targets last week as well.
So,
are you a Jet fan? Are you a Jet fan, Dave?
No, unfortunately, no.
So that's better. That's a real hard take and not coming from the heart.
He's a Giant fan. He's a Giant fan.
Yeah, so when Nick says that shit, we don't pay attention. But when you say it, that means something because you're not a Jet fan.
I am not a Jets fan. No. Thankfully.
All right. So outside of that, I am all for the Zach Wilson coming out party. Let's go to the Andy Reid revenge game. Chiefs, Eagles. What we got? Anything special here? Jalen Hurts flushing a deuce down the toilet, like you said. I don't know if anybody caught that.
I did catch that. He's still a rookie quarterback technically. He only played a handful of games last season.
People forget that.
It's growing pains, and I feel bad for him because Devontae Smith got that interception. Like if he doesn't fall down, he doesn't get the picks. It's a little bit better. And everybody I heard real quick was saying that he missed Dallas Goedert on that one. I'm sorry. I saw it go through Goddard's hands. Like I'm fairly confident that one route where he had nobody in front of him. It went through Goddard's hands, and they're like blaming Hurts for the bad throw. I'm like, you're a professional receiver, like you're a professional tight end. Like, catch the ball.
Still talking about tight ends. Nick, question for you. All right, here's a crazy thing, because I always go through the box scores and I look for like trends. And so, what are Miles Sanders fans saying? I mean, the Eagles ran the ball 3 times besides Hurts on Sunday. 3 times.
That's bad.
Sanders had 2 for 27 yards. They only had 3 rushing attempts.
That is horrible game script for a rookie quarterback. That is absolutely terrible. I mean, I have Kenneth Gainwell shares. That even scares me in that one. Are they going to even use them at this point? It's just wild.
Gainwell only had 4 touches as well. So it's ugly. I don't know what they're doing.
Don't know. All right, next game we got Cowboys-Panthers. Sam Darnold finally plays a good team. Do they go 4-0? Dallas smoke them? What do we got?
Well, I think Dak's going to win the MVP, so they're going to smoke him.
You can't win MVP if Stafford's winning MVP. It's not going to happen.
I love Stafford, but he's more of a game manager more than Dak. Dak lets to fly. I mean, he's scoring touchdowns with the freaking Schwartz. Yeah, so
there's not enough time right now. There's not enough time. There's not enough time.
You're not fighting me on Stafford. I love Stafford. So
no.
But the Dak looks amazing from his injury, and I think, who knows? I mean, Carolina's defense is nasty, but
no Jason Horn though.
Anderson.
Yeah,
he's Henderson's there.
That's true.
But Horn, like you said, so
there's no Horn. I don't know.
Horn.
It's interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of clock management, but I think Dallas wins that, and you're going to start the usual people that we were talking about earlier: the Hubbards, the Moores, the Coopers.
And as you said, Robbie. It might be Robbie's a sleeper DFS pick this week. Might go cheap.
Or Terrence Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah, either one of those, I think you're good.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. I'll let you take this one. Giants Saints. What you got? Have fun.
Oh boy, this is the Kadarius Toney game. No, in DFS only. You're not picking them up. You're not doing anything like that. The Giants are going to lose. I'm already saying that. I think Jameis is going to have a week 1 performance. Like Jameis throws like a week 1 performance that he had. Giants defense is terrible. As much as it pains me, Nick, we talked about this. Giants could easily be 2-1 or even 3-0, as silly as it sounds, but more likely 2-1 because you're losing the Broncos. But you could give Jones another chance depending on your quarterback's situation. If you're in a super flex position, the Saints defense, I'm not overly sold on them. And Nick, I know we've talked about this, and I don't know your take. Jones has looked good as a real quarterback, like not a fantasy. 1 fumble, no interceptions. Like he's just kind of progressed nicely. Just waiting for him to have that breakout performance. But I don't know. You're starting Saquon, and for DFS, I know you guys do that. Your episode on that. I like Toney because he's not going to be able to have much time to throw, and he's going to have to find somebody quick to get the ball to. So,
but obviously, one of my top choices at quarterback last week was Daniel Jones because he was really cheap and he was 20 to 25 points, and you get that 5 times for your cash games. But the one name I have that was in Nick's article is not the Toney's part; it's the Colin Johnson. That kid, he was who was he with, the Jaguars?
Jaguars,
First round pick. He was a good top draft pick, and he's with them. He had 7 targets last week. So he's a guy to keep an eye on.
He's a big body, slim, 6'6", very slim. We'll see. Maybe he could be the next. Who was it they had that was 6'6"? Ramses Barden. That was the guy.
He was supposed to be
wow.
Wow. Yeah, the only reason I know him is because he had a pass interference call against the Eagles and the Giants lost the game. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that game. It's gonna be a disaster this week. But no, I think Colin Johnson will be good to see. But it depends on Slayton and Shepard. See how long they're. I
was just gonna ask that. Any updates? Are there?
I just think it's going to be the day-to-day, week-to-week thing. I think they've been pulling people a lot early with these hamstring injuries to reduce the long-term effects to try to get them back as quick as possible. It's a 17-game season now, so.
Yeah. All right, next up on the slate is Browns and Vikings. Browns looking good. Jarvis Landry IR. Odell's back. Vikings have a Cook injury. Does he play? Does Madison play? Anybody like anybody here?
Whoever's starting at running back for the Vikings.
That's it.
You got to take him, and obviously Kareem Hunt's a freaking monster. He had over 150 total yards last week. I didn't want to pay the price for him in drafts because he went too high, but he's the premier handcuff. But he's not really a handcuff. He's going to roll. But what do you think, Dave?
I was going to say, how do you draft Chubb high and you see what Hunt's doing, and you're just like, wait a second, did I draft the wrong guy? Like in round 1 or round 2? Like it's just, but this is what he was in Kansas City before he had his thing, so it's not a surprise. But like you said, anybody in Minnesota at running back position, and then the usual people, Jefferson, Thielen, those guys. I think it's a higher scoring game than it was when Cleveland dismantled Justin Fields. So,
yeah. All right. Next up, the Bad Luck Lions versus the awful Chicago Bears. Is this even watchable? Justin Fields going to throw more than 10 passes? More than 10 passes?
Feels like Thanksgiving, right? Don't they play on Thanksgiving every year?
This does feel like a Thanksgiving game.
It does.
Just need some turkey now.
66 yards.
Sleep too.
Justin Tucker. Wow.
That was incredible.
Something.
That saved my suicide pool right there.
Yeah, because you were pissed off about it. You were working the game. And I text you. I'm like, oh, Tucker. Mother Tucker.
Yeah, I picked the Panthers Thursday night. I went to put my daughter to sleep at 8 o'clock. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just change it real quick. I changed it from the Panthers to the Ravens. I had a bad feeling about the Panthers. Maybe it's my Jet bias coming in, but
absolutely,
yeah. I think the Lions are a lot better than the record shows, and I think they beat the Bears. Goff has been decent. The Bears, I think. Allen Robinson's a flex right now. He's not even looking great, which is scary. I mean, I'm concerned about him right now until bring back Dalton at this point.
They did play against a very good defense last week. And I think
they did, yeah.
This week, Fields will have a better field day.
All right, he'll have 7 completions.
For 2 yards.
All right, we talked about this one. Texans-Bills. How big did the Bills win?
Oof. They're going to cover the spread at home.
Yeah, I think we talked about Davis Mills. Davis Mills is going to throw a lot. I'm a big Brandon Cooks guy. I hope he doesn't come back down to earth. As long as he's healthy, he's pretty solid. And he's no running back.
A couple guys on the Bills that were coming out. My boy Manny Sanders, he had a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
He had 90-plus yards and a touchdown. And Cole Beasley had like 13, 14 targets or something like that. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Buffalo wins this one. I think for the Texans, the only one you're starting really is Brandon Cooks. Buffalo, you're firing up everybody as usual. Sanders, Beasley have some fantasy relevance back to them. Colts, Dolphins, no Tua. Brissett's back in. Colts looking for their first win, which is a little surprising. Are we firing up any Dolphins here?
Dave, say it. I know
and
who you're talking
Giancarlo
about.
Stanton just hit a 3-run bomb.
He could play football. Have you seen him? He could play football. He could be a tight end.
The whole outfield should play the line for the Jets. But Dave, take this one because I know you like someone in the Dolphins.
I said it earlier.
I heard you. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle. Look, I don't know what else to tell you other than the fact that the Dolphins look better with Brissett at quarterback than Tua. Just saying.
Oh God.
the Dolphins look better with Brissett at quarterback than Tua. And the Dolphins probably end up winning the game.
And Brissett loves using the tight end. And Gesicki, Ivan Fishbowl had 12 targets, 10 catches. He dominated. And this is when he wasn't even supposed to have a role with Tua. So I'm enjoying it.
He's such a talented tight end too. Like I don't understand. Like they drafted him to be a top tight end. He can be one of those top echelon tight ends in the league, and I don't understand why they don't use him like it. He's extremely talented.
Definitely. There's no Dolphin fan on this podcast, so we can say what we want.
That's right. I think the Colts win.
Nick, focus, man. Stanton already hit the home run. Focus.
Yeah, all right. So I think Giancarlo Stanton is the new left tackle for the New York Jets. Football team, Falcons. Football team defense ranked 31st. Terrible. I think they get it back this week, though. You guys agree?
They're not that bad at defense. They're better than they've played. So
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I just think it's a matter of if Heineke can win the game for him. If just don't lose it is really all it's going to come down to. I think as long as Heineke doesn't lose it, but
yeah, Falcons got a win last week, and then next week they are playing the Jets in London. So that's one I'll be looking forward to. 9:30 a.m. game.
oh jeez,
football all day.
All
that
right.
day.
So now this is a good one here. Seahawks going to San Francisco. Seahawks are 1-2, and I hope they go 1-16 because we have the first round pick. But
oh my goodness,
Seattle, little rail here. They got to get back on track, and the 49ers coming off a tough loss. What do you guys think?
Dave, you could jump in there.
I like. Oh God, I don't know if it's a Trey Sermon game. I don't know if I don't know. I thought Sermon had the game. I have no idea. It's going to be a good game. I think it's honestly going to be a good game. I think it's going to be high scoring, so you're going to start the usual people. I want to know. I know Lockett walked away injury free per se, but that still kind of scared me. I don't know if anything's going to be like lingering. With the way he twisted up that one, the one catch last week. But I definitely think it's still Jimmy G's team. But it was good to see Brandon Ayuk finally do some stuff. I know he was getting drafted a lot in a lot of leagues, so I think it was really good to see him kind of come out. I think the biggest disappointment was just Sermon, so I hope Sermon can maybe do something this week.
Yeah, agree. Definitely. That running back situation is the big question mark. Next game is another great game. We got some good games this Sunday. Cardinals Rams. That's a great one. What do we think?
We both like Stafford, but continue. Let's move on to next.
All right,
player.
so we're benching Stafford. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. Kyler's got a big test against a good Rams front.
Poor Kyler Murray's gonna get destroyed by
Are we starting Robert Woods anymore? What are we doing with him?
Yeah, you're starting him.
You have to.
Matt Stafford reminds me right now of Kurt Warner with Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. This is the team it reminds me of. It's just they're that explosive.
Greatest show on turf.
Yeah.
For sure. No, but you got to start Woods. It's almost like a name thing at this point, though. I feel like it's Robert Woods. You got to do something. But he likes Cooper Kupp, and it's going to be a matter of once they start doubling up Kupp and playing somebody over the top or doing something to stop him, you're going to see everything else open up for Woods, and then you won't know who to cover, and then they'll each have good games.
Or it'll be Deshaun Jackson. Oh,
yeah. Pick him up. He's like 2% on.
Yeah.
Next up is the Pittsburgh Steelers with Grandpa playing quarterback against the Green Bay Packers. I don't know about you guys, but watching Big Ben trying to be mobile in the backfield is absolutely painful. And Green Bay, I'm pretty convinced that Aaron Rodgers do that first game on purpose because he looks on fire right now.
I had something to do with his man bun, I'm telling you.
His Halloween costume?
Yeah, he looks like a moron.
That's what he said. He's grown his hair for a Halloween costume. I'm interested to see what it is.
And then he'll shave it.
Yeah.
But, I think we should fire up all usual. Deontay Johnson probably might be back. Right, he's practicing this week. Juju was injured. We'll see what happens with him. Claypool's out there. Can we talk about Najee Harris?
19 targets.
19 targets, 14 catches.
That's absolutely incredible. I don't know.
He's not hitting the hole. He's not running the ball good.
No, but 19 targets, you don't have to do much of anything good at that point.
Of course.
That is first-round fantasy value.
Well, you think about this. Deontay and Juju not playing 100%. When that happens, he goes back to just being an average runner. He's just not hitting the hole.
Here's the thing, too. I mean, Big Ben is moving slow as dirt. I mean, does not have time to throw that ball. He's going to his first option. That could be Najee in the flat.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to still be a lot of I feel like the line's gotten progressively worse as the weeks have gone on. And I've seen a tree move better than Ben. So I don't know.
Well, when they talk about starting Big Ben, all I have to say is no means no. I won't start him.
All right. On that note, we're going to go to the next game. Ravens Broncos. What are we doing? I have the Broncos defense in several leagues, and it's tempting to start them. because they have been very good this season. But then again, they've also played teams combined 0-9. Are the Broncos for real?
I think they are. I think Bridgewater is the quarterback that they needed. He's very good at spreading the ball around. He's a very competent quarterback. Even before the injury, he was good when he was with Minnesota and even with the Saints and all that stuff. They are for real, I think, but this is definitely going to be their first challenge. And I just love Lamar Jackson. I have him in a league, and Marquise Brown doesn't drop at least two touchdowns because 2 drops are on the same drive, so I can't count those. He would have been like Mike Williams. Like he'd be putting up like Mike Williams numbers. So that's a little deflating, but I don't know. It'll be a good game. I'd be careful about that defense though for the Broncos because
I don't know if I would start that defense though.
That probably won't.
I'm just saying it might be. Now watch, they're gonna have a shutout and have like 5 sacks.
So, well, the whole thing with Nick is he wants to stream defenses for season long, and he took the Broncos with 3 easy matchups. So now is the time you drop them and you look for someone better.
Maybe I'll trade him. Maybe somebody will buy him. Probably not. All right, game of the year. Tom Brady going back to New England. Quarterback 1 for the week. There's absolutely no way Brady throws under 300 yards. He's going to tear it apart. He's fired up. Start every Buccaneer receiver. Start Gronk. Start Brady. Start the Water Boy. I'm all in on Tampa Bay.
The Water Boy's out. Scott Miller, he's out long term.
Right? All right, sign the ball boy. I'm starting him this week.
God, and listen, you take Brady every single week. Like it's going to be a Brady weekend DFS. I think that's going to be my starting quarterback.
Oh yeah, I think it might be inflated in price
for sure. He's just going to start Gronk. Just Gronk's getting at least 1 touchdown, at least. It's not going to be pretty. I just can't wait.
The game script is you just see them doing this.
Even if he's not supposed to score a touchdown, Brady is going to purposely look for Gronk just to get it in there, and then I want to see the post game handshake.
That is going to be something.
I just want to see that. Interesting.
All right, last but not least, another great game. We got some good matchups this week. We got the Raiders going to LA to play the Chargers. This is a good one. A lot of good fantasy implications. Eckler, Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Raiders got a ton of people. Renfro. I like everybody in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a shootout. I don't even know what the over-under is, but it's going to be in the 50s.
It's probably going to go to overtime. The Raiders' luck is going to go to overtime. We're going to get free football. No, you're starting up everybody. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be an absolute show.
52.5.
Yeah.
Cool. Take that over.
I wanted to take the over on one of the games last week, and I'm glad I didn't. I thought it was going to be the Cardinals game or something. I don't know why. So I don't know. Vegas scares you sometimes because I always feel like they know something's up. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 21-20 game. Just saying.
All right. That is the slates for the week. Anybody anything to add for the rest of the week? Andy, you got anything before we head out of here?
I do. Something that was missed last week. And this one's, since you're running the show, I just want this to know that this is clearly on you. If you don't get this answer right, Dave, what we do every week is I throw back a throwback guy who in DFS, season long, like guys who was a superstar fantasy type of guy. So I bring it up and I try to stump these guys, and they never guess it right in the first time. But Nick, if you don't guess this one right, you gotta just take off that shirt, bro. So
right.
My throwback, 11 years in the league. He had his first 10 years was 1,000-yard rusher.
Curtis Martin.
Hold on a second. Because my best thing was going to say this was he has the same amount of touchdowns as the current Jets quarterback. Yes, it is Curtis Martin. Yes, Curtis Martin has 2 touchdown throws, and so is Zach Wilson. But yeah,
Curtis Martin, 2000 Tampa Bay. No, it was he threw it to Wayne Corbett.
18 yards each time.
That was the one. That was the Keyshawn revenge game.
So,
Curtis, my favorite Martin.
All right, you can keep the shirt on. Did a good job running the show.
Thank you, sir. Dave, we appreciate you coming on. Please, floor is yours.
I just appreciate you guys having me. Anytime I can talk about sports, which is just a passion of mine in general, and share knowledge and pick people's brains and spit facts, is a great time. So as always, I appreciate you guys having me on, and just being able to share a platform with you guys. What you guys have built, I think it's fantastic. I've been following for a little while now. I also do I do listen and watch. I think it's fantastic what you guys are doing with the Rally for Reed thing as well. I think that's awesome. So no, I think you guys are doing great things, and just for me to be able to be a part of it, I'm honored. So thank you.
And by the way, I will be there live at Rally for Reed. It's this week, Saturday. My wife is working. My nephew's working. Jeff's wife is working. We're all helping out, chipping in here. And I know this podcast and everybody that's listening has been helping as well. So I appreciate everybody.
Definitely. And we appreciate it. And again, Dave, thank you for coming on. Dave is at sports_euphoria. Video game guy, esports, all the above, fantasy sports, New York Giant fan, Bryce Harper fan.
Over. Yes. And a fan of tight ends.
Yes.
Give him a follow. Dave is honestly one of the most knowledgeable people I know when it comes to fantasy sports, video games in general. Dave is your guy.
I appreciate it. We'll just go fantasy football, Nick, not baseball, just football. Just fantasy football.
We're not going to talk baseball. We won't touch that.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything intelligent? Otherwise, we're getting the hell out of here.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm gonna go watch him. I'm gonna go watch some Yankees. Giancarlo starting the new left tackle for the Jets.
All right.
Guys, thank you very much. We appreciate everything. Take care.
Later.